Good evening, Floss Tube. It's Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching, coming to you on Thursday, July 19th. This is my 20th Floss Tube video. I want to welcome back all of my old subscribers. Welcome to any new subscribers. Thank you for tuning in. I know I'm not as frequent a recorder as what some people are, but I do appreciate you tuning in. I think today I'll cover, in case you're wondering, I'm at home this evening. I've tried to do a video for the last 2 weeks and just haven't been able to get it done at the shop, so I thought tonight, Dan's teaching, I would try filming from here. I had to get home and let the dogs out today, so that's why you see my hutch behind me. I am at home in my kitchen. Lots to talk about. StitchCon happened. The 4th of July came and went. I have some finishes. I have some older finishes that hang here at home that I thought I'd show you. I have a few new charts that arrived today. I don't even have them in the computer yet. I have my sampler that I bought at market. It's out of the frame, so I promised I would show you all what she looks like without the glare of the glass that was on it. And show you what I'm working on. I think that's pretty much got a frog in my throat. I think that's pretty much everything that I'll try and remember to cover. I did try and film this earlier this morning and it just didn't. I felt rushed and I didn't want to feel rushed, so I stopped it and just went to work. So I think I'll start with StitchCon. I know most of you have probably already seen a million different videos on StitchCon and how it went. I'm probably not gonna go over that. You know it all. There's not much I can really add except for to say it was a good time. I'm glad I went. Some of you may or may not know I was supposed to travel with Kathleen from Kathleen's Trodden Trails, and at the almost the last minute she was unable to come due to a work conflict. And at the time I seriously considered not going then. I don't travel well. It's not the fear of flying itself that bothers me. It's more the unknown. I just don't do well going places I've never been before. So when she said she couldn't go, I kind of panicked a little bit and thought that maybe I probably would stay home too. Couple of things prevented me from going that route. One was I have a friend, Sherry, who was coming to StitchCon also, and I don't think she probably would ever forgive me or speak to me again had I not gone. And I didn't want Kathleen to feel bad. She sent me several encouraging emails telling me I could do it. And she had arranged things in such a way as it made it much easier for me to go. So that's what I did. I put on my big girl panties and I got on that plane, and I did have some significant delays. I was afraid I was going to miss my connection in Chicago, and then I was afraid I was going to miss the van that Nicole was manning, because we were quite a bit later than we were supposed to be. Thankfully, I don't know if it was Kathleen that put Penny in touch with me, Penny McCabe. But that girl, bless her heart, she stayed at the airport and waited for me. She could have gone on the shuttle and she didn't, and so I am ever so grateful that she stayed there and when she didn't have to. She didn't know me. We didn't know each other. So thank you, Penny. It made a world of difference to me that you were there. Let's see. What else can I tell you that's not going to be repeating what everyone else. I have some thank yous to some other people. I want to thank Barb and Barbara from Keepsakes for throwing a fantastic retreat. It was a huge undertaking, and I know I wouldn't have wanted to try and pull that one off. So kudos to her. It, in my opinion, not that my opinion counts for much, but in my opinion, it was very well organized, run very well. I don't know that she could have done anything different. Thank you to all of her helpers, Nicole, the Buckeye Stitcher, Pam and Steph, the security team, all the people behind the scenes that we probably didn't even know about. They all did an awesome job. So again, thank you for that. And then I want to thank, I think it's pronounced Shawnee Miller. It's spelled Jonnie. She watches my videos and comments on them frequently. And she gave me a gift at StitchCon. Now I don't normally receive gifts. I don't want to receive gifts. So don't take that as I'm begging for gifts. I really truly I don't accept gifts well. So I would just as soon not receive them. But she gave me a gift, and I was so touched by that. So I want to thank you for my little strawberry. She made these for several people. I don't know how many. I just know I saw several people. And I know she sent one home with me for Kathleen, which I did give her. It was very, very sweet of you, and I love it. And I knew I didn't want to just put it in a bowl with some other things, and so I thought long and hard about what would I like to do. With this special piece. And I remembered that about a year ago I had finished the very first in the Loose Feathers Birds series. I can't remember, what is it called? Just hang on a minute. Hold please, as Steph would say. For the bird series. I'd stitched the first one and then couldn't decide what I wanted to do to finish it. So it's been laying on the dining room table for probably about a year. And the colors in this strawberry are in that piece. So I decided I would finish it off and make a little display using the strawberry. And hopefully I can pick this up without everything tumbling. Okay. So, that's a little wild. There you go. I've got the little, that bird weighs a ton. That's why it's kind of hard to pick this up, because that bird weighs a ton and my greenery's getting away from me. But let's see. So I finished it just as a hard finish and with a little trim around the edge, and it goes beautifully with the strawberry. And so this will sit at the shop in a place of honor. And again, I can't tell you how much that meant to me. Thank you so much. Other than that, what can I say about StitchCon? Darlene Baumgardner told me I wasn't supposed to say how wonderful it was, because everyone knows it was going to be wonderful. So I'm trying to avoid saying that. I met a lot of great people. Saw some beautiful stitching. The show and tell table was amazing. Everybody I met was just what I expected, so there was no disappointments there. I did do my best. Normally I would just sit in my little corner and hide away, but I figured if I was going to put on my big girl panties, I was going to do a good job of it. So I spent a lot of time on Friday walking around the room and trying to talk to different people. And I know I missed a lot of people, but I did my best, and I enjoyed visiting with everybody. The stitching was amazing. I can't, the talent that was in that room was just incredible. So I think I'm probably going to go again next year. I'll probably change a couple of things. I don't think I'll fly. The cost is going to increase due to the change in venue. And quite frankly, although the hotel was nice, motel was nice, I did have a little room issue. So pretty much the first night was rough, but got that taken care of on Friday morning, and the rest of the weekend was fine. But anyway, it's going to probably be a little bit more expensive, so I think I'll drive and avoid the delays with the flights that occurred, and I won't probably feel as constrained on what I can take with me. I didn't want to deal with a checked bag, so I only brought the one suitcase, and then I brought my computer, my laptop, and I had a hard time with that. I normally, going to my retreat that I throw, I usually take about 20 different projects, and I limited myself to 3, which was, as it turned out, fine, because I got very little stitching done, and what I did do I had to rip out. So but a girl likes to have choices, and I felt constrained by my choices. I didn't necessarily want to work on what I brought. So yeah, I think I will most likely go again. One of the more special moments for me was the time I got to spend with Stephanie. I don't think, and this is in no way something bad, I just don't think under normal circumstances I would be the person that Stephanie would have chosen to spend some time with. It just so happened that we were talking a little bit of shop business, and I have a POS system, and she was interested in it, and so I did take her up to the room to show her the POS system. We did get to talking and chatting, and before we knew it, it was almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and I hope that she enjoyed talking to me a little bit. I know I enjoyed talking to her. And I feel, I don't want to say I feel bad. I feel a little guilty for monopolizing her time. And I feel a little sorry for those of you who didn't get that time. Sorry. I also got to spend a little bit of one-on-one time with Michelle Bendy Stitchy. She was trying to help me with some tech issues. You know, I really wanted to learn how to edit. But unfortunately, the software that she has is no longer supported, and so we weren't able to really. She downloaded some software, but it's a little complicated for me. So I'll get there sometime. At some point, I'll run into someone who can help me learn how to do that. And so that was fun too. But again, everybody I talked to was wonderful. I'm sorry, Darlene, I used wonderful. Everyone was, it was special to meet everyone and see all the beautiful stitching. I got to see I really, one of the things I really enjoyed was seeing the Under the Sea fabrics in person. I guess I don't know what rock I've been living under, but I didn't realize that Leslie sold her fabric wholesale. So I have a list of fabrics that I saw on the table that I'm going to order in for the shop. I'm just kind of waiting for my large bill from Hand Dyed by Stephanie to come through so I can free up some funds for ordering from Leslie. So that was fun for me. There was a ton of trunk shows. I have a hard time with trunk shows. I was actually supposed to be having one this month, but it never showed up. No response to emails. So I don't know. I don't know how Barbara managed to get as many as she did, but more power to her. It was nice to see everything. And I think the last thing I want to talk about was the exchange piece. It was a little confusing for me because my piece said it was from Melissa Eggleston, and then when I went to thank her, she said she hadn't stitched it. She'd forgotten hers on the kitchen table, I think she said, and someone else stitched this one extra. And so I did thank that person, but I unfortunately forgot to write down her name. So you know who you are. Thank you very much. She did a beautiful job on the stitching and the finishing. It's absolutely adorable. The bees are stinking cute. And then, as if that's not enough, she went and stitched StitchCon on the back 2018 and another little bee on there. It's just adorable. I haven't figured out where exactly I want to display it, because I want to make sure it gets a special something and not just in my basket of smalls. So I'll eventually it'll come to me, and it'll have a place that of honor. And thank you so much, both of you, for participating. We have at my retreat, we have an exchange in the fall, and We normally have about 40 people at retreat. But I'll be darned if I can get 15 of them to participate, I'm doing really well. And I was amazed at the number of people that were involved in the exchange. And kudos to all of you for doing that. I know some of you were really nervous about your finishing skills. I didn't see anything that anyone needed to be nervous about. I thought they were all wonderful. So keep up the good work, people, all of you. You did an amazing job. And I think that, unless I think of something else as I go along, is all I have to say about StitchCon. It was a good time. I'm glad I went. I'm sorry that Kathleen couldn't go. I hope she'll go next year. We've talked about it a little bit, but I'm going to have to wait and see what she decides. Otherwise, I might have to bring Dan the man with me. Hang on a minute. The dogs want to go out. And I'm back. And it was a good thing that I paused this, because I did remember some things I wanted to say, other things I wanted to say about StitchCon. I wanted to thank the ladies that shared my table with me. Sherry, and who's my friend from Pennsylvania, and then Nicole the Buckeye Stitcher, Marlene Stitching by the Lake, Pam Stitching Between the Lines, and then Penny McCabe, Lee, I don't remember your last name off the top of my head, and then a little gal named Andrea. And everyone was wonderful and kind and exactly how I pictured them. Marlene, as you know, was going through a rough time at that particular time. I think things have improved now with her brother. And so she was a little bit quieter than I would have expected, but I totally understand that. And but everyone else was it was fun getting to know them. I will look forward to hopefully seeing them again next year. And thank you, ladies. You made the weekend quite enjoyable. All right, and that is it for StitchCon, unless I remember something else. So I got home from StitchCon, and you know how it is when you have a business and you're gone for 3 days, you end up being 3 weeks behind. So I got home, and Dan must have been in a god-awful hurry to get out of there that Saturday, because he normally leaves the shop in decent shape, and there was fabric scattered everywhere. I had boxes piled up from orders that came in, and so I put in some really long hours when I got home from StitchCon, because I knew I was leaving for the 4th of July. I think, okay, so I'm 58 years old. I would say less than 20, I would say less than 15 of those years, I have not gone to the Sandhills of Nebraska for the 4th of July. The rest of the time, we have gone. 4th of July in Omaha is not all that great. But this little tiny town puts on the best 4th of July celebration. My mom is from there. It's a little town called Stewart, Nebraska. Raggy, Mama's not playing right now. No, get down. Get down, baby. Stewart, Nebraska. My mom was raised there. And in fact, we had our first retreat there. Way back in the beginning, there were 10 of us, and we stayed at the bed and breakfast there. It's called the Sisters House, and it's still a bed and breakfast. It's been a bed and breakfast, and then not a bed and breakfast, and then a bed and breakfast, and not. Now it's back to being a bed and breakfast. And it's called the Sister's House because it's where the nuns that's where they lived when my mom was young. And in fact, the nuns were her teachers, and she did not have very nice things to say about them. So anyway, the most of the family was going up this year. I used to own a shack, and it was a shack, let me tell you, in town there. My aunt passed away and I bought it. And before I was working for the shop, my sister and I and the kids would go up and spend most of the summer up there. But prior to that, we would go, as I was growing up, every 4th of July. There was the rodeo, the parade, the stock car races, fireworks, street dance, cruise night. I mean, it was fun. And after I sold the shack, probably 8 or 9 years ago, I haven't been back. So this year we decided that we would go. We wanted to take Emma and Addie up there. Unfortunately, we didn't know that most of the 4th of July activities were taking place the weekend before we got there. So that just left pretty much just the parade, which is a pretty good parade for a small little town. It actually has a theme and floats and horses and clowns and Shriners and everything that makes a good parade, tractors. So we decided we would go, take the girls. Adam and Marcia were coming. Amy and Emily were coming from Ohio. Dan and I were going. My sister Melanie and her family were going, including my mother. Dad was staying home. So the only one in the immediate family that we acknowledge as immediate family that wasn't going was Abby and Travis. And that Travis's birthday is on the 4th of July, and spending the 4th with us is not what he wants to do. So they went there and did their own thing. Anyway, so we went up for the 4th. We still had a good time. Played a lot of dominoes and visited with my aunt and uncle. The girls had a great time running around, but unfortunately, it pretty much rained the entire day on the 4th of July. The parade was supposed to start at 10:30, and at 10:15 it was still lightning and thundering. But they did not cancel the dang thing. They went ahead and had it, and it was just apparently tractor after tractor after tractor. I did not go. My hip was bothering me, probably because of the rain, and I did not want to walk. We usually drop a couple cars off early morning and then walk home, and then we walk back for the parade and then drive the cars back afterwards. And I didn't want to do all that walking with my hip. So plus it was raining. So I didn't go, but apparently the parade consisted only of tractors this year because they couldn't have the floats and stuff with all of the lightning that was going on. So it turns out I didn't really miss anything. But anyway, we did still have a good time, and I got to stitch while I was in the car. So I got a good 4 hours of stitching in going up and a good 4 hours coming home, and which meant that I got my piece done, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. But if you're ever driving through the Sandhills, and you hit a little town called Atkinson, Nebraska. You want to take a swing through downtown. There's still an old-fashioned soda fountain there, and it's in a dime store, an old-fashioned dime store where you can get fabric, you can get toys, you can get dishes, you can get, everything. If you need anything, it's there in that store. Not a very big place, but it packs a big punch. And it's also, and I think there's a store here in town where I can get them, but I never get to that store. So it's also one of the only places where you can get candy cigarettes. So I had to go and get my obligatory candy cigarettes. The sad part is they have removed the red tip from the candy cigarette. There's no red tip anymore. But they still taste the same. Anyway, there's also in this same town, probably one of the best gift shops I've ever been in. We call it the Purple Store because the outside of the building is painted purple, but the name of it is called Something Special by Marilyn. So I highly recommend you stop in and say hello and check it out. It's Christmas all year round there. And there's a little something for everybody in that shop. So that was my 4th of July. We got home on Thursday. The shop was open on Friday. It was busy as all get out. Saturday was busy as all get out. And I've been still playing catch up ever since. But I did get, like I said, I got my little brick house from La Di Da finished, and I finished the framing on it. What was yesterday? Yesterday. I did finish. I got the framing finished yesterday, so I think I will show that to you right now. I just want to say I am thrilled with how this came out. When I first bought the chart at Market, and I think it was 2014 or 2015 when it came out. So the chart's been out a while and I just hadn't stitched it. This was one of my mania starts. But when I first bought the chart, I had it in my idea, or an idea of how I wanted to finish it in my head. I just wasn't sure how I was going to make that happen. Because I knew I wanted like a checkerboard mat, which they don't make checkerboard mats. So my options were to paint a mat, cut a lot of little holes and put, in a white mat and put a black mat behind it. Or finally I decided that fabric might do the trick. Instead of an actual mat, I could just mount it on the fabric. So that's kind of what I did. And I don't know, I think it turned out really, really cute. I'm really happy with it. So without further ado, let's see if I can get this so you don't get there. It's stitched on 25 count over 1 vintage country mocha Lugana. I used the called for fibers, except sort of kind of I mentioned the last time I don't like a border that's got a variegation to it because it can make it look crooked when it's really not. And then I didn't like the door color, which was supposed to be trade winds, so I used the raindrop color for the doors and the windows. Otherwise, it's pretty much stitched as called for as far as threads go. So I took that, stretched it, mounted it on a piece of black suede mat, and bought the checked fabric at Hobby Lobby it was in a package of different fabrics, fat quarters, and then mounted that on there. It's in a very deep frame. I don't know if you can tell. There's so it's shadow boxed. So it sits back in the frame a little bit, and I am in love with this finish. Absolutely in love with it. It came out exactly how I had it pictured in my head, which is always a good thing. And it has already, one of our stitchers, Roxy, saw this. She'd already started stitching the piece, but she decided she wanted to do it exactly as mine, so she had to buy the fabric and start over again. And then Joyce is doing the same thing. She wants it done exactly like mine is. So I'm glad that they like it. I hope you did too. The other thing I got framed, or the framing finished on it, it's not my stitching. I think if you'll remember back on my last video, I talked about the I'm Just Here for the Booze, and Mary had volunteered to stitch that for me. So she got it finished, and I got the framing done, and I think it turned out wonderful. This is 40 count slice of lime from Hand Dyed by Stephanie. We left the border, there was a stitched border off. We left that off because I knew I wanted to do a stacked frame with the orange linen liner on it. And I think it's really turned out cute. We didn't use, apparently you're supposed to use, I can't remember what Mary said it was, some sort of a special floss for this, and I said no, don't, just use the regular white. I don't think it needs the other. So technically I have 3 new models in the shop this week, and that makes me feel good. So when I finished Little Brick House, I decided to choose another of my Stitch Mania projects that I had quite a bit of stitching in, trying to finish things. So I went back to stitching on Colonial Hair from the Primitive Hair. This is the chart, and I am doing this one on that fabric. That fabric comes in a 30 count and a 40 count. I chose to do mine on 40 count. A word of caution if you're going to do that. Because you're only using one strand on the 40 count, you can kind of see some of that writing coming through. And if I had figured that out, I probably would have not done it on that print fabric on the 40 count. I probably would have done, gone to her Old Massachusetts, or I think it's Old Massachusetts, which is a 40 count just in her regular fabric. But I didn't figure that out, so we're just going to live with it. And I am down to, she's starting to get a neck. And you can see the beginnings of where her necklace is supposed to go. But there is, I'm calling her Henrietta. I think you might remember that from previous videos. Because in my mind she's Harvey's wife from the movie, Jimmy Stewart movie Harvey. And I'd really like to get a male version with a little bowler hat and a little white collar and tie. I think they'd make a great set hanging on the wall. Anyway, I'm really enjoying this, even though the colors are kind of, they're grays. So they're not real exciting, but I'm really enjoying the stitch. I enjoyed watching her face come to life, and then I added in her ears, and now it really helped to get her neck in. She looked a little odd without a neck. She was just kind of floating in the air, but now that her neck is starting to to fill in. I'm really enjoying that. So hopefully, if I'm lucky, perhaps maybe she'll get done next week. I would like to say this weekend, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But maybe by next week she'll be done, and then I can get her framed up. I'm trying desperately to get some more things done for the state fair. It is that time of year. I hope you all are working on your entries for your fairs. I will have, at this point, I only have 3. The little brick house, the bird, for the birds, and then my Fractor flowers. That is all I have managed to actually finish this year. And everything else has already been in the fair. So within the 3-year time frame, I've already put everything else in there. So if I can get Henrietta done, then she will also go to the fair. Although I'm kind of torn on that one, because it would be better if I sent them as a pair, but I have no idea if I can get Izzy to do a male version. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know yet. So that's all I have been working on. And I know that's not very exciting for you guys, but I gotta get some things done. Dan has been working on White Christmas. I think I showed you this one in my last video. And he has the tree farm one done. Unfortunately, I can't find where I put it. I have looked all over and I can't find it, and I hope I haven't lost it. Dan will kill me if I did. He's not going to want to stitch it a second time, I can tell you that much. But he does have the Noel one done now. So there's that one. Oh, and the sparkle's showing up good. We do have to, because I changed the fabric on this, we do have to do a little extra back stitching to make some of the elements in the piece pop out, but I think it's turning out really pretty on this fabric. And if I could get my order from Stephanie, I would be making a lot of other people happy, because they want the same fabric and I don't have any. So that's Dan's. Let's see. Oh, Anne, my sampler. I have her laying here. I took her out of the frame, and I have to tell you that I was not very happy with what I found. I was under the impression the people I bought this from knew what they were doing, and in my opinion, they do not. And maybe it's fine. They use double-sided tape to tape it to the mat board, and so when I went to take it off the mat board, it literally put more holes in the fabric than what there already were. Pulled the threads out, put new holes in it. This fabric is very brittle. I was not very happy with that, especially for what I paid for it. It should have been done much better. So anyway, there is a method, just in case you're wondering how I would have done it. There is a method called encapsulation. It uses acid-free Mylar and an acid-free, very strong acid-free tape. And you bring the tape along the, and hold this up, along the side of the stitching, but not on the stitching. And then you smooth the Mylar over it, and I think the light's fading. And that Mylar then holds it in place, does no damage to the fabric. So, and that it just makes sense to me that you would do that with something this old. But anyway, promised I'd show you what she looks like without the glass, so you can get a little bit better look. The griffin is absolutely wonderful, but you can see all the white showing through. That's all the holes in this piece. I haven't had a lot of time to work on the reproduction of it. But I promise I will eventually get to it. So that's the front side. And I was surprised the back side is not that much different. It's a little bit richer in color, but really not that. The green grass down here is a little bit greener. The trees are a little bit greener. The pink and the blue, pretty much the same. So that's the back. For being 10 years old, Anne did a wonderful, wonderful job stitching this. I have to wonder how old she was when she started it, because that thing would take me probably 3 or 4 years, which means she would have been 6. And I find it hard to believe a 6-year-old would do that, but maybe they could. I don't know. So that's that. I've got a couple of pieces to show you from that hang here at the house, mostly because I wasn't able to get the charts. For a long time, Shakespeare's Peddler charts were unattainable, and so I brought a couple of the models home so I could enjoy them here. There was no point in having them on the wall when I couldn't get them for people. So the first one is Jenny Bean. I do love all the Jenny Bean charts, and I've stitched, I think, 3 of them so far. 4 of them. 4 of them so far. So this one is the Friendship, Jenny Bean's Friendship Sampler, I think is the name of it. And it's going to look a little bit different. If you happen to look up the chart, it's going to look a little bit different because Julie misread the chart and stitched the first house with the wrong color. Decided I wasn't going to rip that puppy out, so I just kind of went with it and made changes as I needed to accommodate it. So the color tomato, which is what if I'm remembering correctly, what the house was supposed to be, is nowhere to be found in my version. So anyway, this is my version. And I love how it turned out, don't get me wrong, but it does not look anything like the chart. It says, "Tell me, ye knowing and discerning few, where I may find a friend both firm and true." I think I did a pretty good job on, see this border is with a variegated, and it just tends to look crooked even though it's not. I think I did a pretty good job on my satin stitches. Anyway, it's one of my favorite pieces. And I'm really glad that Teresa is making them available again because they're awesome designs. The other one is also Shakespeare's Peddler. Excuse me. Or hold, please. It's called The Keys. I stitched mine on Brash from Picture This Plus, using, I believe that's a bell swag called Briar Patch, if I'm remembering correctly. And then Connie thought it would be cool to actually add some old keys, so I had Dan build this frame for it. And then we just hung some old keys on there. So again, one of my fairy favorites. But I suppose I'll have to take them to the shop now since the patterns are available again. And the last piece I want to show you is Quaker Diamonds from Rosewood Manor. I took this piece home when the shop closed. Yeah, I think when the shop closed temporarily. And I just never took it back because it's hanging on my wall and I like it there. But I probably should. Let me see if I can get back far enough so you can see the whole thing. This one is stitched exactly as called for. The same count, the Valdani threads. Get a little close up of some of the motifs. And I love it. I love how it turned out. But I probably should hang it in the shop. It would be like a new model. I always meant to do the spring and what was it? Spring, summer, fall, and winter Quaker that Rosewood Manor did, and I have them all. I have all the Valdanis for them, but I haven't ever stitched them. Hopefully someday I'll get to that. So those are the 3 items I thought I would show you this time. There's more, but I didn't want to overwhelm anyone. And then I brought, since I was just going to be filming this evening, I just grabbed a few of the newest charts that are in. Like I said, I didn't even get them all into the computer, but I will tomorrow morning. So they'll be available tomorrow morning. Hear the Crickets Sing is the next one in the loose feathers for the birds. And I'm a little confuzzled by this one. It has pink in it. It just looks... This one looks really, really antique-y to me. And I love it. I truly, truly love it. But I'm just not sure that if I was putting them all together, I'm just not sure that I would like these two together in one frame. To me, this just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Let me know what you think. But I do love the piece. It's just, it's got, can you see? It's got little pink flowers in it, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the first time they've thrown pink into the series. So I don't know. But I do like it. This one, my God, I had a hard time getting a hold of this one. Forever and Ever. It's part 1 in the Songbirds Garden series from Cottage Garden. It's absolutely gorgeous. But everyone was out of it. I ordered it and back ordered, and then I ordered it from a different company and back ordered. So it finally came in today. It's stitched on, what is it stitched on? I haven't even read. It uses Weeks Dye Works flosses. It's supposed to be stitched on tin roof from Weeks Dye Works. I probably would change the tin roof to a Lakeside Linen cedar plank or something like that. But I love those birds. You see those birdies? They're pretty. And I heard it's 159 by 159, so not huge, but not teeny tiny either. Very pretty. Nicole the Buckeye Stitcher would like this one. Plum Street came out with some new ones. I'm out of the, the new set, the cow pile and the henpeck. The henpeck is my favorite so far of that series. Absolutely love that one. It would go good on with all my chickeny things back here. So I couldn't bring those to show you because they're sold out for the second time. But I did bring Blueskin. There we go. I apologize for the color. The light is going, so I need to finish this up. But I love the horse on this one. Love that horse. I don't know how she managed to. That is a. I do not do well with designing things with curves. And she did Paulette did an awesome job on that one. Look at the curve on that neck. It's just perfect. Absolutely perfect. Very cute. She also released Merfolk's Eden, which I think is really cute too. This one's supposed to be stitched on, as well as Blueskin, on 36 count Nantucket Brew. I haven't seen Nantucket Brew yet. I do have some ordered. I have a feeling it will be back ordered. But I think this is really cute. It's got the dolphins and a merman and a mermaid, and those are what are those called? Narwhals? Narwhals, I think. Little fish. Very cute chart. I do not speak French. I'm not going to try and pronounce this. Just know that it's from Tra-La-La and it's stinking cute. Absolutely adorable. But, you know, I think what that might mean is basket of strawberries, but someone who speaks French can correct me on that, please. But it's really, really cute. I like it. Heart and Hand has Ye Old Crow sampler. This one would look really good on that fabric that Stephanie was talking about this week in their latest video. And it's cute. And I think it would stitch up fairly fast. Threadwork Primitives 1842 saw sampler. Now I haven't, this one is stitched on 35 count cocoa linen. But I'm wondering why it's saw sampler. I don't know. I don't know if the lighting is, but there. That's a pretty good shot of it. I just thought it was kind of a pretty little sampler. Very pretty. And finally, Long Dog has a new chart called The Pilgrim. And it is an amazing conglomeration of all kinds of critters. Look at the critters in that. The more you look at it, the more critters you find. Birds and foxes and frogs and rabbits, and I found an owl, and there's like, someone told me like 96 of them. I can believe that. And then it's got the buildings at the top. Super cool. Look at that flamingo, that deer. There's a little mouse or a rat. Lots of rabbits running around, squirrels. I think there's an owl in there somewhere that I found. I did not find a pig or a cow or any type of farmy type animals. But there sure are a lot of. The seahorse and this horse are really cool. I like it. So that's everything I have to show you. We're about an hour long. I don't want to keep you any later. Like I said, the lighting is getting worse. I'm going to try and I'm not even going to say that because it won't happen. I was going to say I'm going to try and do another one in 2 weeks, but well, maybe it will. Maybe I'll have Henrietta done and I'll want to show her off. So maybe I don't know. Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in, and again, thanks to Barbara and everyone for a great retreat. Get your stuff ready for the fair, please, and get your entries in. Now is the time to start filling out all the paperwork. I don't get the sense that we will be having as big a showing this year at our state fair. I have been a little lax this year on browbeating people into doing it. And it seems like if I don't browbeat them, they don't do it. But I'm hoping you all will at least support your local fairs and share your results with the rest of us. We do like to live vicariously through others. And you all take care till next time. Okay? Bye-bye.